Welcome to Under the Hood Podcast. In this podcast, we pop the hood and give you an inside look at the hows and whys of our ministry here at Cornerstone Church. I'm Michael Nave, your host. It is so good to have you join us for this episode. Today, we're talking about what is being done to ensure that you are safe as hundreds of us gather each weekend to worship God. And today, I am joined by Pastor Jason Thrash. Jason, thank you for jumping in here and joining us for this episode. You were with us back on episode 7 when we were talking about empowerment. Thanks again for being here today.
Yeah, it's a joy. I'm glad to be here. I'm not sure what episode we're on now, but yeah, glad to join today.
More than 7. And you and I, we just had an opportunity on staff to celebrate your 9th anniversary.
Yeah, that sounds crazy. I can't believe that I've been on staff 9 years. It seems like we've been part of Cornerstone forever. I think it's 18 or 19 years, but 9 years on staff, that's actually the longest I've worked anywhere. So yeah, kind of crazy.
It is. And when back on episode 7, we were talking about one of your great passions, which shows up in your ministry every day, this empowerment ministry where you guys get to come alongside people who are taking steps toward making changes and seeing God show up. And again, I'd say go back and listen to episode 7. So proud of you and Gail and the entire team of what we're doing, walking alongside of people. So last time you were really passionate. This is a little bit different. We're talking about protecting our people as God's people gather on a weekend to worship Him. So in some way, this is not quite as cheery. We're not talking about somebody who's ready to make a change. We're talking about people who, well, they're in a place where they're considering doing harm to people as they're gathered in a room. This one's a little different.
It's different, and yet because of the empowerment ministry, I know how many people are out there that are just really hurting, and sometimes it's just, unfortunately, this is the world we live in. Sometimes their final step is to go out there and try to hurt somebody.
Yeah,
and so unfortunately, that's happened in churches. There's been several times when that's happened, and so. It's just really important that we take the steps to help protect our people so that they know that when they're gathered together, that they're safe.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes. And Jason, I want to personally thank you for your leadership and you and JD for leading this team. The two of you were in my office this past weekend at 8 a.m. There was a situation that had come to your attention, and you and JD were walking me through what was going to happen. And thanks to JD and your team, that situation was diffused, and we were able to continue to worship. And I can't count the number of times that I've been on stage with my eyes closed, praying over our people in a time of worship, realizing, oh, crud, like I'm the most obvious target in the room. And there would be a moment of fear rush over me. And then to have that sense of peace, reminded that your team is in place, our protection team is doing their job, that I could continue to pray and not be distracted by fear. So, Jason, I want to thank you for this ministry that you have to our church personally, and also thank you for your ministry in the way that you serve our congregation. I really am blessed by it.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Just like to be able to be used in whatever way God wants it to use me. So
yeah, it shows. Okay, so let's get the term right. You call this the protection team, not security team. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so several years ago, one of our members who does this professionally started doing some research, and basically we determined that if you call it something like security, there's lots of ramifications that come into play. Training and certifications and insurance and all the different things. And so we settled on a protection team. This is a team of volunteers that are doing it as volunteers. Nobody's paid.
Right.
And so Yeah, that's who we are. We are the protection team protecting the flock.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. So when the term security is used, we're talking about a legal classification or certain certifications that come with being a security guard or something like that. And so you are utilizing volunteers who have already been trained and are now serving in this area of protection. Okay, that totally makes sense. Now, Jason, start walking us through. I think I have 6 components that you have shared with me are essential to the way that your protection team is functioning. The first one is what you described as multiple people, multiple places. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so we currently have 3 services. So I have 3 teams of people that make up those teams, and so we have one person every service that's actually scheduled, and they have a specific spot that they're going to be in the building. And then we have everyone else that's on the team that comes to service that day. They check in, they let them know the lead person where they're going to be, and we just make sure that we've got several people in several places in the building, so that if something were to happen, that we've got it covered.
Wow, that is so encouraging. Yeah, just for many of us to think, oh yeah, 3 services, 3 teams coordinating. You've got a team leader, and they know who's in the building. Wow, that is really helpful. So talk to us about technology. Like what technologies come into play for those team members? Yeah.
So if you've been in our building, you've probably noticed we have cameras all over the place, and so our team has the ability to monitor those cameras. There are certain situations where we have someone that's all they do is monitor cameras. And then, of course, they've got the ability to communicate with each other with radios. And we all have a cell phone in our pocket. And so they're able to give information back and forth, send a picture or information that they might know about an individual that comes in the building.
Oh, wow. Just as you said, send a picture. I'm like, oh, yeah, how helpful. It's not, okay, red hat and green shirt and blue tennis shoes where you can actually snap an image and share that with team members.
We are all so connected all the time. And so we might as well use that technology to help us.
Yeah. And so then one of the things that you've mentioned is it's not just the protection team. Actually, it's the protection team working with other teams to carry out this. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so we've got, our team, they have their list of things that they're doing. They have their tasks and jobs. But if something were to actually happen, then we know that we have the ability to use our tech team, who has the ability to notify more people. We have the ability to use our kids security team. Mm-hmm. We have kids people that are checking the doors as when adults drop off their kids, they have to show a name tag. And then the adult can't pick up that kid unless you show their tag. And so we have someone checking that. So there's always someone at the doors of both of our elementary and preschool areas. And so those members are part of the team. And then we have a staff that's always roaming in the building. And so that the staff members are all up to date on different scenarios that might come about and what their role is.
Wow. And I really appreciate that just this last week you met with our staff just to make sure everybody knew, how this would happen. And if this was done, then this would be the next step. So yeah, you're talking about multiple teams. You have staff members, the actual folks who work for our church. And then you have the kids, volunteers and staff members. Then you have the production team and the protection team. Like you have a lot of moving pieces. And at the same time, you're able to engage a lot of people into protecting the people. So it's not just on that protection team member. They are surrounded with a great group of people.
Yeah, it's a system that I think we've spent a lot of time putting it together. And obviously we've reached out to lots of other churches that are doing the same thing. And so there's no need to reinvent the wheel. We do training together with other groups and other agencies. And
yes,
there's a group called Sheepdogs that that's what they do. Like what does a sheepdog do? He protects. And so we've had some training with them.
Oh, good. And another, talking about partnerships or working with other teams, you have said that oftentimes there's a partnership with local law enforcement.
Yeah, it's and we have a very good relationship with the city of Marion, with law enforcement here in Marion. And so oftentimes, if they know of a situation, they'll notify us, and then we're able to even notify other churches. Or if we know of a situation, we'll let them know that, hey, we know that this has happened over the last few weeks in other places. We just want to let you know that just to kind of be on guard, maybe have one of your officers roaming closer to Cornerstone Church this weekend. And so it's just really nice to know that we have that relationship and the ability to make that call too.
Yes.
And when you have guys on the team that they are probably working on a police force in Heron or in West Frankfort or in Carbondale or in Marion, so they already have the relationship with those same guys as well.
Right. One of the things that was most helpful as you and I talked about this conversation was that you said your protection team members have as one of their first steps, one of the things they want to do is actually draw attention to themselves. So in the event, something triggered the awareness of your protection team, that something was off. What do you mean, and what does that mean for our people when a protection team member draws attention to himself or herself?
Yeah, so our team is made up of professionals that this is what they do for a living every day. Either they do currently or they have in the past. And so they are trained to protect. They are trained to save lives. And so if a situation ever got to the point where they were going to go into action, one of their jobs is to draw all the attention of that individual to themselves and away from anybody else, away from patrons, away from you on the stage, away from anything else. And so that's their job. And so that's one of the things that I would tell our people is if you sense that might be happening, stay calm, stay put, know that your kids are safe. Like the system has already gone into lockdown. They are going to be where they're supposed to be. The people that are protecting them are going to be in their place, and let these people that are on this team do what they do.
Yeah.
And this is what they do every day. And they're trained to do it, and they're going to put into action the skills and what they know that needs to be done. So let it happen. We know you're going to be nervous and there's going to be anxious and all that stuff. But just know that your people are being taken care of.
Right. Jason, I found that to be really helpful when you explained that to me, because, our first reaction might be run and get my kids or jump to help, and actually to understand that protection team is already working toward drawing the attention to themselves actually put me at huge ease to just say, okay, I need to stay put. I need to be quiet. And as you shared, we know we have several concealed carry members, and to actually just say, hey, stay put. We've already taken steps to lock down the kids area. You can be confident between production and kids team. That's locked down. Don't run, get your kid. You won't be allowed into that room because we have them safe and secure. And it was just really, really helpful for me to process that and to know.
Yeah, I think it's just as a father, I know that's where my mind would be going right away, but then to know, and for you to know that they're being taken care of and they're in a safe place. So, yeah, it will help the team.
Absolutely. Now there are some who are like, no, you don't understand. Like I'm the one who wants to step in and act. So talk to us about how would a person volunteer and get involved in this?
We know that we have multiple people that are concealed carry, that have that happening on a daily basis, and we welcome that. Like you won't see a sign on our front door that says no weapons.
Correct.
Because we know that people want to protect their families, and so that's welcome. But also know that these people, this is what they do. So our actual team are either active or retired police, military, or corrections.
Okay.
And so they all have some sort of training that they either are currently doing or have had in the past. I have had in the past a few volunteers that they wanted to be the person that monitored video. And so they were in an area where all they did was kind of keep track of cameras.
Okay.
And watch that. So that would be something that someone that wasn't, that didn't have that training in their background could do. But man, we welcome any and all that might fit that category to come and talk to me. I would love to add them to that team. The more that we have serving on a every Sunday morning, the better off we are.
Yes. So come to you would be a first
Yeah,
step?
come to me and I'll hook you up with JD. JD is the one that kind of does the initial training, and then we'll put you on a team, and you get to serve at the service that you come to. And so once every 5 or 6 weeks, you'll be maybe not have the ability to sit with your family, but the rest of the time, even while you're serving, you'll be with your family.
Yeah, so good.
And it's just a really neat way for someone that may be ex-military or police that say, I really just don't even know where to serve or how to serve.
Yes.
Man, you can serve doing what you do.
Yes.
Like, this is a skill and a talent that you have. God's given you this, and man, use it to glorify the kingdom.
Jason, I know that is one of your passions as a pastor of our church, is to see people find what you just described. And so many people have thought, well, I can't sing, I can't play a musical instrument, I don't preach. There's probably not a place for me.
I guess I got to watch kids.
That's the only one left. And here is another beautiful opportunity to use exactly what you just said, a place where you have been trained, you are gifted. Bring that giftedness to the church as a way to protect God's people and allow people to worship. Jason, thank you for your passion. Thank you for your giftedness. We feel safer, and we are safer because of the ministry of the protection team. Thank you for doing what you do.
Yeah, I'm just grateful for the team because they are the professionals. I just get to help organize and make sure that it's all set up for each weekend, but they're the ones that are doing the work. So yeah, I just really appreciate them, and their passion for it. I was talking to one of the wives of one of these gentlemen this week, and she's like, this is just who he is. Like, everywhere. It doesn't matter if you're on duty, if you're at church, if you're at a restaurant, he's just always on watch. And so that's what they do. And now they get to use it at their church, which is really cool.
Together, we get to worship.